Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As always, it's Nameless here, back again for another Nameless Notions, where I just came to tell you a few things to make your day a little brighter, and also talk about some shit that I found interesting. Today's video, just want to say, just to start things off with a bang, I want you to know that you are capable of absolutely anything. Not just because I said it. No, I've seen you do some amazing shit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not you, like I don't know you, whoever's watching this video, but I mean, some of you I do know, and I've seen you do some amazing shit. Stuff that blows my mind. And then there's people who aren't even alive today who've done some amazing shit. It's like we can take their example and live, and we can follow their example and do some amazing shit ourselves. So yeah, they've done amazing shit for thousands of years, and you are too. You are going to do amazing shit just like our ancestors did. And on that note, we're gonna jump right into the main fucking topic today, which is addressing some of the horrific inaccuracies of last week's video. Alright, now, nobody pointed this out to me, I noticed it myself, but I thought, you know what, this is necessary to address this shit. I think this is something that, we should always go back and fact check ourselves. So in last week's video I said a lot of things about the pyramids and Gobekli Tepe, and so I wanted to address the inaccuracies and the things I said. If I don't address it in this video, it wasn't inaccurate in last week's video. So, I mean, if you haven't seen that, go back and watch episode 19, which is I Believe in You and what the fuck is with all these pyramids. Anyway, so in that video I said a lot of things about the pyramids. Let's start off with some of the things I said. Just to be clear, let's have it. According to the Egyptologists, the Great Pyramid of Giza, the largest of the three, is supposedly the idea for the pyramid was first thought of by the great Pharaoh Khufu, and it was believed to have been constructed in 2550 BC. It stands some 481 feet tall. I said 480, and I do believe I said 2500 BC. So I was only off by 50 years and 1 foot. But there were some other things I said that were incredibly inaccurate. But let's not split. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, it doesn't matter how small the inaccuracy is. I'm not going to leave room for error here, because this is really important shit. We need to fucking take into account the fact that our ancestors did these really amazing things. We need to have all the statistics accurate. Alright, I also said that there were 2.5 million stone blocks. There were 2.3, so I was off. But I mean, a difference of 0.2 million is 200,000. That's a lot of fucking blocks. Still though, so the accurate number is 2.3 million stone blocks in the Pyramid of Giza, and each block weighs an average of 2.5 to 15 tons. Alright, now I also said something about how the stone quarries of these supposed rocks were 500 miles away, and that's partially accurate. It's estimated that they were up to 500 miles away, but not every single block in the Pyramid of Giza was dug from these quarries. So yes, there were some rocks gotten over 500 miles away. Other rocks were much, much closer. Depended on the need. I mean, I'm sure, when the rock quarry nearest to the construction site ran dry, they would search, and they would go out farther into the distance to try to find a new rock quarry that would give them new limestone. Anyway, so that's it for the Pyramid of Giza. Everything else I said about that is accurate. You want to talk about that 3-minute thing I said? You can do that yourself with a calculator. And if you didn't see last video, I said, you can figure this out for yourself with a calculator. Well, based on these statistics, 2.3 million stone blocks gotten from rock quarries up to 500 miles away, circa 2550 BC, and I think the construction started 2530 BC, around that date. So it's estimated 20 to 22 years to build this, with a workforce of about 25,000 people, including the slaves doing the labor and the journeymen handling the more technical the mathematics and the plans and such. So with that workforce, these many stone blocks, it's 480 feet tall. It would have taken them, they would have need to place every stone block 3 minutes.
sorry, that I didn't say that correctly. Forgive me. What I meant to say was, in order for this pyramid to have been built in only 20 years, every single stone block would have need to have been cut and placed in 3 minutes. And seeing as some of the rock quarries were up to 500 miles away, it's not possible. It's not possible for them to be cutting and placing every 3 minutes when you have primitive hunter-gatherer stone tools, copper tools, hammer and chisel, sleds, things like that. It's like, no. But I'm not suggesting anything by this. I don't know what that means. But, I mean, it means something. It seems very, very crucial that, I mean, we're looking at a building that was not built in 20 years and was not built by people with stone and copper tools. It was obviously constructed by somebody much, much more intelligent. Now, I believe it was human beings, but I contest that whoever built the Pyramid of Giza was somebody more intelligent than the primitive Egyptian culture of Kemet. I say that's not, no, that doesn't add up. Alright, so anyway, but back to accuracy. Next I was talking about Gobekli Tepe, and to accurately state it, I said 13,000, it's actually 11,500 years ago. That's when the construction of Gobekli Tepe is dated. It's roughly 9,500 BC, or 11,500 years ago. Now, this building was discovered by the German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt, who worked at the site for more than a decade. It was actually closer to 20 years. It was 18 years he worked on that site. Schmidt passed away in 2014, unfortunately. But anyway, according to Schmidt, the pillars at Gobekli Tepe were the ones that he had discovered in his lifetime. He had discovered 16 feet tall, weighing between 7 and 10 tons, and since then more pillars have been discovered. To date, there are over 200 known pillars above and below ground, ones that they have dug out, ones that are still buried. Some of the pillars, they now have found pillars up to 20 feet tall, and some of them weighing up to 20 tons. Now, there are pillars and stones. I didn't know about the stones until I went and researched this a little more. But there are pillars and stone blocks arranged in these massive stone rings. One of the stone rings is 65 feet across, and these are some of them are perfect circles. And how the hell could they create a perfect circle without circumference knowledge? And anyway, some of them are ovals, and some of these circles align with the stars. Some of the ovals do not. But anyway, that's not. You can go look this shit up for yourself. Anyway, I'm just trying to correct the inaccuracies in last week's video. Anyway, so to keep going, see, Schmidt was part of the team that mapped out the site of Gobekli Tepe. They used ground penetrating radar and geomagnetic surveys that charted at least 16 megalithic rings, and other than, well, so I guess that would make up to at least 20 megalithic rings. They have 4 uncovered, 16 still uncovered over this site that's 22 acres large. The whole site of Gobekli Tepe. The whole, from what they can see using the ground penetrating radar, the whole thing spans 22 acres. And they have only excavated 1 acre and less than 5% of the site. Now, of course, last week's video I said some very different numbers than what I just read there, but these are the accurate numbers. This is according to Klaus Schmidt, and the team of archaeologists is actually digging the site up, and they're still digging today. And according to Schmidt, he said that the team, before he passed away, he claimed that archaeologists could continue to dig at Gobekli Tepe for another 50 to 100 years, and they will still not dig it all out. Now, that's the accurate statement. I said something different, but just correcting myself. Now, just to give myself just a little bit of leeway room here, I want to remind everybody here that, last week's video was not completely wrong. As I said, if I didn't address something in last week's video, it wasn't inaccurate, or at least according to my fact-checking. I might find something later, but we'll address it later. So just as far as anybody here is concerned, my whole point with last week's video, and my point still today, is that our ancestors did some amazing things. They constructed these buildings that are mind-bogglingly impossible to explain, like the Pyramid of Giza and Gobekli Tepe, just those two. We do not know how they built them. It can be you can come up with theories, you can suppose all day long, but we don't know for sure, because there are certain aspects of these buildings that cannot be explained. The explainable has been explained. I mean, we assume that, or the archaeologists at Gobekli Tepe assume that it was built by hunter-gatherers, but again, there are aspects of this that just don't add up to, like I said in last week's video, like ooga booga cavemen. Like they weren't that primitive. They must have been more intelligent. And how, according to the archaeologists at Gobekli Tepe, there's evidence that site may have been what they're saying is it might be the world's first crypt, like that invented by people at least. Like it could be the first site of human beings honoring the dead, or like creating some sort of monument to our own confusion and awe at death. So it's a mystery, death. So that humanity has been questioning death and the whole of our own existence since we were first created. I mean, I'm not saying that I believe we were created by a god, but I just mean this. So from the moment that humanity stepped on the scene in nature, whether we were created through evolutionary means in nature, or if we were made by aliens, or if we were created by some god deity, or multiple gods, who knows? But wherever humanity came from, the moment we stepped on the scene, we've been really, really confused as to why we're here and what happens when we die. And that's not me saying that, that's just the evidence seen all around the world in all cultures. There's a huge mystery concerning death. There's like this big question. It's like, death. What happens then? So anyway, the archaeologists are saying that Gobekli Tepe may be the first megalithic, or maybe the first temple dedicated to death, or dedicated to humanity's connection with death. This is like our trying to understand it. We made this giant temple, Gobekli Tepe. But that's just a theory. We don't know if that's what Gobekli Tepe really is. We can only theorize that that's what that place is for. And just a side note, I want to make sure that you know that I'm not saying that Gobekli Tepe was a temple of death. That's not a fact. That's just a theory. That's just what the archaeologists are saying. And then my side note about how death is this big mystery in all human culture since the dawn of history. I mean, that is true. Now, the way I phrase it, it may not sound completely accurate, but there is a confusion and a mystery and an enigma concerning death in all human culture. That is one of the things that all people have the big question about. So, what about death? What happens then? But anyway, so, back to the point. Point is, people do amazing shit. People do shit that's so amazing that we cannot explain it. It seems that there is this exceptionalism to humanity. It's like maybe not every single human being achieves exceptionalism, but we are all capable of it. We are all capable of doing things that, for lack of better terms, defy science and defy explanation and understanding. So I'll say maybe there is a definite logical reason for how these things occurred, but as far as we're concerned, with our perspective view, these exceptional occurrences cannot be explained. And I mean, it's not just Gobekli Tepe or the Pyramid at Giza. You have to look at smaller forms of exceptionalism that exist in today's day and age. You look at the way successful people make large sums of money, or the way celebrities and other iconic people gather fame. I mean, this is not as big as the Pyramid of Giza, and it's not as magnificent as Gobekli Tepe, but it's still a wonderful thing that's very difficult to explain. Talk about a viral video. So you say somebody makes a video on YouTube and it gets 1 million hits overnight. All of a sudden they're famous. All of a sudden they can get a commercial deal with Nike and start making money because they made a stupid little 6-second video on Instagram or YouTube or Snapchat or whatever. I mean, that's a mystery, but it's an example of exceptionalism, that something can do something. The human being is capable of capturing a certain particular essence within a moment, within one moment. You're capable of doing something that, to my eyes, defies the laws of the universe. And I think that may be one of the... I'm not saying that this is for sure one of the secrets of the world, but it might be one of the secrets of this world, that humanity is capable of bending the rules. And when I say the rules, I mean the rules of reality, the rules of this whatever this is, this matrix, this dream world, this dimension, this third dimensional Earth, space time, whatever it is that we exist in, I think we as people, we could bend the rules with our mind. And to say not with the brain mind, I'm not talking about like psychic abilities and things like that. I mean, that may be possible on some level, but I mean, I'm talking about like on a deeper level. I think that just the act of existence, the act of a human being existing, there's something about it, there's something electrical about it that causes, it's this reaction between a human and reality where in the moment, we can capture something, we can retain something, we can do something that just is beyond what nature normally does. And so we go beyond the natural law of this world and the universe to say, like I said, we can break the rules. I say, so take that away with you. That's today's point here. That within this so-called matrix that we live inside of, or this world, this reality, we can bend the rules. We can break the rules. I think that's how you explain the pyramids at Giza and Gobekli Tepe, is that yes, there were some incredibly intelligent people behind these structures, maybe some technology that has been lost to history, that no longer exists because it has been crushed to dust by the sands of time. Maybe. Or maybe a long time ago, humanity figured out in the early days, before we even created language, we somehow figured out on an animal level that we can break the rules of this reality, and we started to do so. I think that we've been breaking the rules since the dawn of our existence, and that our existence in and of itself is probably a broken rule. But that's just a facetious statement. Don't take that to heart. But on a more literal note, I do personally believe that we can break the rules of this reality. And I think that breaking the rules is one of the keys, one of the secrets to this world. Now, like I said a minute ago, I don't know for sure. It might not be. I mean, that might just be an idea that I had that this turns out to not be true. But, I mean, doesn't it just sound so fascinating? Even if it's not true, wouldn't it be fun if we could break the rules? So suppose we can break the rules. What happens when you try? Goddamn thing. I think the coil in this pan is burning out. It's very, very difficult to get a hit out of this fucking thing. It's kind of annoying. But anyway, that's not important. I just did that for my own benefit. What's important here today is that you are capable of amazing things, and that humanity has been doing amazing things since the dawn of time. And I'm not just speaking out of my ass here. Like, the reason I went back and did all that fact-checking is because these are real things that have occurred in real life. Pyramid of Giza is a real building. Gobekli Tepe is a real site that is being dug up right now. History is happening, or history is being discovered right now, right under our noses. We're figuring out, like, the secrets, the clues to humanity's past, this great mystery, or one of the great mysteries. Anyway, amazing. It's all amazing shit. The whole of humanity's history has been one amazing mystery after another. I think we're breaking the rules left and right. How about you do it? Go try it. Just right now. Go break the rules. Don't go break the law. You know, that's not the rules I'm talking about. I'm talking about the rules of reality. Go try to see something other than what you're used to seeing with your eyes. Sort of see what's really there in front of you that they don't want you to see, that it's been hidden from you because it's hard to see, you know, the stuff that's in between dimensions. That kind of stuff. I think we can bend the rules and access those kind of things.
Imagine what we'd be capable of if everyone was doing that. The Nameless signing off.